The book Allostasis, Homeostasis, and the Cost of Physiological Adaptation is a collection of essays that explores the concepts of allostasis, homeostasis, and physiological cost associated with adapting to changing environments. The book is edited by J. Skolkin. He is a renowned neuroscientist and expert in the field of physiological adaptations. So the book consists of 8 chapters written by the prominent researchers from the various fields including neuroscience, physiology, psychology, and ecology. So the authors presents a comprehensive overview of the theoretical and empirical aspects of allostasis and homeostasis, highlighting their role in physiological adaptations and their implications for human health and diseases.
The first chapter, entitled Principle of Allostasis, Optimal Design, Predictive Regulation, Pathophysiology, and National Therapeutics by Peter Starling. He is an American anatomist, physiologist, and neuroscientist. Allostasis is a framework that redefines how the body maintains stability amidst constant changes. Instead, focusing on maintaining fixed internal conditions, it emphasizes adapting external challenges. Biological systems have evolved for maximum efficiency, adapting dynamically to changing environments. The brain predicts and interprets environmental cues, enabling proactive regulation through predictive regulation. By understanding how prolonged stress affects the body predictive regulation system, we can gain deeper insight into pathophysiology of this condition. Rational therapeutics advocate for medical treatment that restore regulation system.
Protective and Damaging Effects of Mediators of Allostasis by Bruce S. McEwen, who was an American neuroendocrinologist. He was known for his work on the effects of environmental and physiological stress, having coined the term allostatic load. This chapter describes how the body maintains stability through physiological changes in response to stress and cumulative wear and tear that results from chronic stress exposure. This chapter has become crucial in understanding the physiological impact of stress. The key mediators of allostasis, such as catecholamines, glucocorticoids, cytokines, can have harmful effects when persistently elevated, leading to physical decline, mental health issues, and accelerated aging. This chapter emphasizes the importance of understanding these interactions to better comprehend stress reactions and their implications for health.
Merging of the homeostat theory with the concept of allostatic load with David S. Goldstein. He is a physician and senior investigator of neurological disorder and stroke. This chapter proposes that the body has a regulatory system that maintains a stable internal environment despite external changes. This is achieved through homeostats that compare the body's state to a set point and adjust functions accordingly. Chronic stress can lead to allostatic load, a cumulative effect on the body system resulting in negative health outcomes like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and depression. The homeostat theory offers a more nuanced understanding of stress than Celia's original theory, recognizing the complexity of body's regulatory system and their role in maintaining health under chronic stress. So by acknowledging the intricate interactions between these systems, the homeostat theory provides a deeper understanding of how to promote health and well-being in the face of stress.
Operationalizing Allostatic Load by Burton Singer, an adjunct professor, Emerging Pathogens, Carol D. Riff, an American academic and a psychologist, and lastly, Teresa Seaman, which is an epidemiologist with postdoctoral training in neuroendocrinology. The chapter interested in operationalizing allostatic load, which refers to the cumulative physiological burden placed on the body by chronic stress, reflecting how the body adapts to stressors over time. It accounts for both biological responses and psychosocial factors. This chapter emphasized the physiological and psychological mechanisms through which stress affects health and focus in psychological health and how stress affects mental health. It is generally focused on the ways in which psychosocial variables can either reduce or increase allostatic burden, and also by creating empirical measurements and emphasizing the significance of combining social and biological variables.
George Koob and Michelle Lemuel's book Drug Addictions and Allostasis delves into the connection between stress, addictions, and body's coping mechanisms. They make a distinction between the body's ability to adjust to stimuli and its ability to maintain a stable internal environment known as homeostasis. Chronic stressors, such as substance use related stressors, raise allostatic load, which has deleterious effects on physiological changes and health outcomes. The writers stress that changes in the nervous system may result from the ongoing need to adjust to medications. The book examines the mesolimbic dopamine pathway, which is part of the brain's reward system, and how drug uses causes anhedonia or a diminished capacity for pleasure. It also covers the connection between stress and addiction, emphasizing how using drugs is frequently a maladaptive coping strategy used to avoid unpleasant feelings and stressful situations.
Adaptive Fear Allostasis and the Pathology of Anxiety and Depression by Dr. Jeffrey Rosen, a board-certified family practitioner with 40 years of experience, founded Prime Care of Coral Gables in South Florida, specializing in primary care medicine. And also Dr. Jay Skalkin, a research professor at Georgetown University, is a renowned author of books on social sensitivity, neural function, and the musical mind, having earned his PhD in behavioral neuroscience. This chapter explores the physiological and psychological aspect of fear, anxiety, and depression. It argues that anxieties, disorder, and depression are linked to maladaptive adaptive fear responses, which are survival mechanisms. Chronic stress can lead to dysregulation of allostatic load, exacerbated by anxiety and depression. The study also highlights the relationship between depression and anxiety, suggesting that chronic and dysregulated adaptive responses can lead to pathology of anxiety and depression.
A chronological perspective on allostasis and its application to shift work by Zad Bolos, a researcher and expert in circadian rhythms, and Alan M. Rosenweiser, a professor of psychology at University of Maine. His research focuses on chronobiology, which studies biological rhythms like the circadian cycle. This chapter describes how working shifts throws off the body's normal circadian rhythm, leading to stress as the body strives to compensate all the time. Allostasis is the term for this adaptation process, in which the body controls stress chemicals like cortisol to keep everything in balance. Repeated stress from irregular work schedules builds up over time to create an allostatic load, which can cause long-term health difficulties like cardiac problems, sleep disorders, and mental health challenges. The study makes emphasize mitigating these impacts, including stress reduction, controlling light exposure, and sticking to a regular sleep schedule.
Allostatic Load and Life Cycles by John C. Winfield, a distinguished professor of environmental endocrinology. So the chapter delves into the intricate connections between an individual's ability to handle stress, their energy levels, social status, and physical well-being in response to environmental pressures. The author argues that an individual's capacity to cope with stress is heavily influenced by their allostatic load, which is a measurement of how much stress affects their energy reserves. Energy levels, shaped by factors such as social status and physical health, play a crucial role in determining an individual's ability to respond to stress. Social status, in turn, can impact an individual's access to resources and energy, while physical health reflects their overall energy stores. And when an individual's stress level exceeds their energy reserves, they may enter an emergency life history stages where their body prioritizes survival mode.
In the realm of social psychology, understanding how individuals cope with social stressor is crucial for grasping human behavior. The concept of allostatic load, which refer to cumulative effects of chronic stress on individual energy reserve, shed light on the physiological and behavioral adaptation that occur in response to environmental pressure. When faced with social anxiety, rejection, or competition for resources, individual bodies react by triggering fight or flight response, leading burnout to chronic stress if not managed properly.
Social status and physical health play a significant role in an individual's ability to cope with stress. Those who have high social standing and good physical health are better equipped to handle stressors, whereas those who are excluded or have poor physical health may be more prone to chronic stress. The concept of emergency life history stages is also relevant in this context, where individuals may abandon their normal coping mechanisms and engage in maladaptive behaviors such as substance abuse or avoidance when their stress levels exceed their energy reserves.
The psychological adaptation of the stress response system, which releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, helps individuals cope with immediate social threats such as rejection, criticism, or uncertainty. However, chronic exposure to social stressors can lead to allostatic load, resulting in negative consequences like social anxiety, burnout, or changes in group dynamics. Individuals may adapt through behavioral strategies like avoidance, distraction, social support seeking, or cognitive reappraisal, while groups may adapt through collective behavior like group cohesion, task-oriented behavior, or normative influence.
The impact of social stressors on mental and physical health is significant. Allostatic load can lead to unhealthy behaviors, decreased productivity, and even physical health problems. Furthermore, chronic stress can disrupt social roles such as caregivers or partners, leading to feelings of loneliness or depression. Social support networks can mitigate stress and reduce allostatic load, while cultural and socioeconomic factors shape how stress is perceived and managed.
In addition to individual level factors, social dynamics also play a crucial role in shaping stress responses. Social learning theories suggest that social norms, behavior modeling, and observation can reinforce or lessen anxiety and sadness. The amygdala and prefrontal cortex are focal brain regions responsible for handling social emotions, and dysfunction in these circuits can exacerbate anxiety and depression.
Impulsivity and compulsivity are fundamental ideas that help explain how addiction is influenced by social dynamics. Impulsivity, typically fueled by peer pressure, can cause individuals to engage in maladaptive behaviors without thinking through the long-term effects. Neurological alterations in the brain's reward system can cause this impulsivity to eventually turn into compulsivity, which is typified by a loss of control over substance use despite unfavorable consequences.
In conclusion, understanding how individuals cope with social stressors is vital for grasping human behavior. By examining the intricate relationships between stress management, energy levels, social status, and physical well-being, we can develop more effective strategies for coping with stress and promoting overall well-being. Social psychology provides a framework for understanding how individuals adapt to social stressors, how social dynamics shape our responses to stress, and how we can mitigate the negative consequences of chronic stress.
As we navigate the complexities of social stressor,
Let us remember,
That the ultimate fight or flight response
it is not against external threat,
But against our own inner demons.
That prioritizing mental health
And self-care is the most powerful adaptations of all.